Before we dive into this episode, I just want to let you know if you want to get access to episodes before anybody else, head on over to patreon.com/concerts that made us. And as a bonus, you'll get access to videos of some of the episodes and a host of other benefits. We've also teamed up with Band Builder Academy to offer you 10% off their membership. Details of both can be found in the show notes below.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, concerts that made us, interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down, the greatest live shows and the cheering crowd sound. It's concerts, concerts that made us, concerts that made us.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Audrey Queen, aka the Queen of Darkness, lead singer of Bullet to the Heart.
This is Draven DC, the drummer.
And you're listening to The Concerts That Made Us.
Draven and Audrey, you're very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having
yeah.
us.
How you doing today?
Great, great. And yourselves?
Pretty good. It's been a long one already, but
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. So the last time we spoke, you had just released Black Widow. Now you're back with the EP Death, Oddities and Romance, which you released on the 28th of April. What can you tell us about it?
So when we were writing this EP, I know for me, I really wanted to kind of step back a little bit from writing personal and kind of do like the storybook type of thing. So when I approached the guys giving me music, I really took inspiration from Volbeats and how they write songs on characters like Doc Holliday or Lola Montez. So I wanted to give that also kind of feel. And so this was just a collection of characters and their own stories, kind of doing their own things in their own little worlds.
The last time the guys were on, I spoke about how they put the music together. But where does when it comes to songwriting, where does your inspiration usually come from? How do you approach writing songs?
Usually I'll listen to the song and I'll kind of let the song speak to me on what it wants to be. So for this, I usually take what's going on in the world or what's going on in my personal life or maybe in the guys' lives and try to make more personal things that people can relate to. But I'm also noticing, even writing these stories, a lot of people are relating to these little stories. So I guess it's just in my nature to write songs to bring a community together and have people feel like their voice is being heard generally throughout everyone, and they can connect with others in that way.
Yeah. You're definitely good at kind of, targeting a listener and making them feel good with your music. I noticed that a lot of your songs they're very easy to resonate with.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And what was the production like on the EP?
Production was, overall it was very awesome. We got to work with Justin Oftenkamp from the metalcore band Miss May I. So that was like a dream come true. I know for me, because I grew up listening to old school style metalcore. So to be able to work with him was just awesome. But basically, like when we wrote these riffs and then she threw her lyrics on them, we realized like, oh, Revenant's about like a vampire or Black Widow's about an assassin. We wanted like a certain theme in the production to go with that. So that's where you add your little gunshots or your little ominous instruments or something kind of creepy in the background, something gothic. Based on what the song was calling for, you add those production elements to it. But it was really cool to go to this big famous studio in Ohio and work with Justin and kind of lay all that down.
Yeah, definitely. What's it like when you're going to work with someone that has a name like that? Is there kind of are you nervous? Are you ready? How does it feel?
So yeah, at first we didn't really know what to expect. He's a big name guy and they've toured the whole world. They, have been doing music full time since they were like even younger than we were. And we're going in with this. And originally we wanted to go into a big, we want to do an EP with a big sound. We want to do like a really heavy sound to kind of match his vibe. And we realized like, that's not what it is. We're not them. We got to do our own spin and do our own thing. And when we met him, we realized he's a nerd. He's just a big music nerd, and we were like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like him and Brian got along. They were both kind of socially awkward and they're both gear nuts. And we realized like he's just a music nerd and just a very sweet dude. And like we just, had some fun with him and it was just kind of worked out.
Yeah. And the 28th of April seems like such a long time ago. How has the reaction been from fans to the EP?
So reaction's been really good. I know when Black Widow first dropped back last time we talked in October, people were excited and pleasantly surprised that we were doing a heavier sound. And when they finally got their hands on the new EP, they realized there was kind of a song and a story for everybody. But a lot of the attention once the EP came out was on a song like Postmortem and Death by the Sea, the tracks that we didn't release as singles. a lot of people were captivated by the uniqueness of those tracks and how those tracks were written and the different styles that those tracks ended up being.
When that happens, then does that kind of make you regret not releasing them ones as the singles?
No, I actually I look forward to, I like the weird stuff. You know what I mean? The weird stuff might not work markability wise, but I don't regret it. We originally talked about doing Death by the Sea as a single, and it just didn't fit our budget because the idea that we had in the video would require a lot of time and a lot of money that we just didn't have in the budget. So we were like, let's just make it like kind of like almost like a filler track, but not really a filler track because it's an EP. And maybe if it gets a good enough reaction, and maybe if it gets good enough traffic on its own, we might revisit that track, and you might get something later on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully down the line we'll get to see what that idea was. And how has the band grown or evolved between this release and your 2021 album Transcendence then?
Oh, just, I mean, a ton. I mean, Transcendence was written during the heart of COVID, which is in 2020.
Mhm.
And we started writing Death, Oddities, and Romance right after Transcendence came out. And we were already like, I think personally for me too, like light years ahead of where we were with Transcendence. Transcendence is it's a good release, don't get me wrong, but we were already like ahead of the game. Like we already had a new idea and a new concept and a new writing style. We were writing heavier, writing more fluently, vibing a little bit better. And, we were just kind of so ready to knock this thing out. And we wanted to wait till COVID was over. We wanted to wait till we were touring again. And we wanted to come back and do all that stuff. And I was like, we're just going to hold on to this. And I don't care how long we got to hold on to it. We got to drop this one right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And are you similar this time around then? Are you already moving on to the next music, or are you stepping back and letting this EP kind of settle in for a while?
No, yeah. I mean, if anybody out there listening has us on Patreon, we've already been cooking some stuff up. And if you haven't, come check us out on Patreon. We already have like 4 or 5 songs in the works that are demoed out right now that we share to our lovely Patreon bloodline. And yeah, we are ready to do the next thing. And we don't know if the next thing is going to be a bunch of singles or another EP or maybe a full-on album. We haven't really decided that part yet, but we are already writing and working on new stuff. And we're going on tour in July. And when we come home from that tour, we have 3 whole studio dates that we're blocking off that we're just going to do nothing but record.
Oh, lovely, lovely. That actually reminds me, are you guys still doing the weird cookery shows on Patreon?
Yeah, we are still doing them. We're on episode I think 16 or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're still fun. So we've been doing weird stuff. I think Audrey did like a baking special at one point.
I don't cook. I do not like cooking. I'm so glad I live with people that like to cook because it ain't my thing.
I love it. I know Tom and I love it. We probably have the most episodes accumulated between the two of us, but I like it. It's another creative outlet for me. And it's just fun, and people, we're really goofy in the videos and people just kind of like it. And it's a fun thing to do besides music in the creative front.
True, actually. And it's probably the last thing you would expect to see a band doing or to get from a band,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we even talked about maybe putting it on like some of our social medias as like a weekly thing. But for right now, it's just going to stay on Patreon. You gotta support us and to get that exclusive, wacky, ridiculous content.
Well, it's definitely worth it anyway. And since we last spoke, you guys have been extremely busy gigging and touring. I feel like every time I go on Facebook or Instagram, there's a new poster up saying that you're playing with this band or you're playing here. What have some of the highlights been for you guys?
So I'm going to start off with specifically this year. We did a release show for Death, Oddities, and Romance, and we did the whole thing ourselves. We booked it at the what is it? It's a roastery.
The roastery, yeah.
At the coffee roastery because we have our own coffee, and we did it at the roastery. We did an acoustic show. We sold out the acoustic show. We had food there. We did a raffle where we gave away one of Tom's bass guitars. That was probably one of the bigger highlights in the last 2 years for this band. Not only to have a sold out headline show under our belt again, but to do it in such a weird, kind of like not normal way and just kind of drop that out of nowhere. But it felt more like a party, but it was a full concert. And we did full production. We did our own sound. We had our big giant 30-foot banner. Like, it was a lot of fun, but it really just felt like a party with all of our fans and friends that showed up, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, open up for Rolling Quartz at Reggie's was really dope. I know we toured in 22 with the Rumors. That was really cool. And we got some great tours planned this year. We're going out with Texas Hippie Coalition, Gemini Syndrome, and Yngwie Malmsteen. So those are 3 separate runs that we're doing this year to promote this release, and I am beyond excited to start that process.
Yeah.
Man, and I have to ask, how do you guys prepare and get ready for going on the road with guys like that?
So it's a lot of money to buy merchandise and amp up our game. I mean, we invested in a rack system for all you gear nuts out there, so that we don't have to bring amps on the road, and buying a bunch of new merchandise, practicing a bunch, and really just getting the vehicle solid out. We're actually doing that tonight after this interview. We're going to drop it off to my mechanic, and he's going to do a full look just to make sure we're safe, and really just kind of like hoping on, and kind of praying a little bit that it goes really good. But I mean, it's a calculated risk that we take with these runs. I feel like these are good bands. Their audiences are very similar. It kind of lets us kind of play a little of the new stuff, but also play some of the old stuff. And you kind of just got to go live and take that leap of faith,
Yeah, definitely. And how are you guys handling life on the road lately? It can be a bit of a slog at sometimes.
It's, we live together. Yeah, we've been in a Tahoe, a small Tahoe together. So I mean, we're living together. So it's nothing like we haven't experienced. I think definitely this time around it's going to be a lot easier for us, just because we already know everybody's triggers. We already know how everybody is. And we've got a van, so now we have like more space, so we can we're not stuck in a tiny little truck. We have more space, and it does help that we sort of like each other.
Sort of.
Sort of. There are some issues there are some issues obviously living, especially me as a woman living with 3 other men, but whatever. We get through the day.
Glad to hear it. And Audrey, you weren't on the last time, so I have to ask you this question. When it comes to concerts you've attended, what concerts would you say have made you?
One that comes to mind right away is definitely when we as a band saw Disturbed. Disturbed from Chicago. That was such a great experience to see. They were all best friends. They all grew up together, to see all the photographs and them attending each other's weddings. We just kind of
that whole emotional thing right in the middle.
Yeah, we just
it was just them like living with each other. And
we looked at each other and we were like, this is like what we want to be. We want to someday play an arena and have pictures of us at the house we lived in, at each other's weddings, at each other's birthday parties and celebrations. And that is definitely a concert where I was like, wow, this is the dream that I want to live. This is what I aspire to do and who I aspire to be. And another one is definitely seeing Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam. That was another one because he's one of my greatest influences. I take a lot of inspiration from him as a grunge artist. So those are some concerts that really made me want to be a musician and be better.
Yeah, oh man. There are 2 that I actually would like cut off my left arm to get to see. I absolutely love those guys. And your own shows then, what shows would you say have made you?
Definitely headlining House of Blues Chicago. That was a moment. We sold it out. Well, we didn't really sell it out, but we sold 400 tickets, which was quite a lot for us in our career. Stepping out on stage and just the curtains peeling back and everybody screaming at you because they've been waiting for you all night to get on stage. And definitely definitely our acoustic performance that Draven was just talking about. That definitely, I stepped back and I was like, wow, people actually care. Like, people really want to know what we're doing, want to know what we're up to, want to be a part of our lives and be a part of this experience and be not only fans, but be our family members, our bloodline members. And those were definitely two concerts where, once again, I sat back and I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I want to be. And nothing in this life is going to stop me from this, because I have all these people that absolutely love and adore us and back us fully.
Yeah, I think especially the acoustic one, not only because it's recent, but the vulnerability of playing acoustic music is just so,
Absolutely.
you're so vulnerable up there, and we're talking about each individual song. We had to change the music to fit the acoustic style, and everyone, like, I mean, at one point, especially when we talked about Postmortem, it's a very personal song for Audrey and I specifically, and it's like there was not a dry eye in the room when we were talking about that, and it was
Mhm.
like, oh my god, like, people are not only understanding the message, but they're like, people are living it, and people are also like going through stuff that, you know, you may not know about. And it's just crazy and yet beautiful to kind of see that we could all connect over this song that we wrote, but also music in general.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I often ask, like, what's the best thing that could happen with your career? But I think that reaction is worth more than any monetary value or anything else that could happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Just having that level of support, because we know that no matter what, these people will be by our side and we will do the same for them every single time.
Yeah, I mean, I know what music did to me growing up, and like I just want to be that for somebody because I know the power behind it, you know. I feel like we have this gift of writing music and producing music and recording music, and it's like I don't want to waste it, you know.
Definitely, definitely. And before we jump into the last couple of questions, then I know you've told us about the upcoming tours and everything. Is there anything else in the future you want to let us know about?
As of right now, pretty much just the touring. Come see us on Patreon, follow us on social media, maybe. We got a lot of fun little things that we're doing on the socials, and we might see one more music video from Death and Oddities. Maybe one more coming out, but if not, check out Revenant. That's the single right now.
Ah, fantastic, fantastic. Right. Draven, you can answer these as well, because it'll be interesting to see how your answers have changed since the last time. We'll start off easy. If you didn't work in music, what do you think you'd be doing?
I don't know. I mean, probably at this point, doing something with food, maybe doing something in the food industry. You know.
Right, right. And Audrey?
Well, way I grew up, my mom was an educator, always has been an educator. So she wanted me to go to college and get some boring, stupid job in the world and marry a stupid engineer. So I'd probably just be living a mundane life, unfortunately. Good thing I didn't go down that path.
Well, thank God for music. So,
Yes, absolutely.
and the next one. So, if you guys could see any performer from history in concert for one night only, who would it be?
That's a good one. What do you think?
I gotta think. You gotta.
Okay, I guess off the top of my head, I'd definitely love to see the Beatles perform in their heyday. That would have been really cool to see, because I was obsessed with the Beatles growing up. My grandmother loved the Beatles. So maybe in like the days where everybody was like obsessed with them, I would like to see them then, where they were throwing candy at them that they liked and screaming at the top of their lungs.
What a weird time too.
Yeah, 'cause
Like, I'm so obsessed with these young men that I'm gonna throw things at them.
yeah, they couldn't literally perform because people screamed at them and threw stuff at them. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, did you ever see the footage of when they played the baseball park in America and they actually couldn't hear their own instruments?
Wow.
That's just how obsessed
I bet
people were.
that's just crazy to me. Like, that is like, you have to love your fan base, but also be like, bro, like, take a chill, you know?
Yeah, I know, that's way too much.
I think that's actually why they stopped performing live and just became more of a studio-based band, because they got sick of going out and not being able to actually hear the music or play through a full set, you know?
I mean, it could be. And with a band like the Beatles, I mean, they were so big that they could just drop something and it would just sell and make money. You don't even need to go out and perform it or promote it.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, the new single, it's crazy.
Okay, who would you see?
So at this point in my life, I think I remember my answer from last time, but I'm going to switch it up. I would like to see early Linkin Park in like a club.
Ooh,
that would be good.
Especially with like the absence of Chester and like they have the new music coming out with like old demos and stuff, and listening to that kind of like throws me back to like that whole new metal genre. Like I would love to see that being a brand new thing at like a small venue and just seeing that grow and be like, wow, I was there for 2005 Linkin Park or even earlier than that, but just something crazy kind of like that would be amazing to experience.
Yeah, that would be actually unreal. Jeez. And the next one, so if you had to spend 24 hours locked in a room with any musician from history, who would it be?
Wow, these are good questions. This is something I gotta think about, huh?
Yeah.
Like, who would I want to be locked in a room with?
It makes you think.
Yeah. Damn. You got somebody?
No, I got to think about it. I don't know.
I was thinking for you, like the Rob. You want to be locked in a room with that man?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably. I feel like that's always the go-to answer. But you're probably right. I mean, not only to figure out the songwriting he has come up with and his own style, but like just being a drummer in a band. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but a songwriter. Yeah, a songwriter.
Like he was
drummer.
One of the best songwriters, I know, like our time. Just because like he came up with a lot of that like arena metal stuff.
Okay, so that's who I'd want to be. I would want to be locked in a room with Chester Bennington.
That's a good, connect it all together.
I would so badly want to know what made him tick and made him write so many good songs, because he was like literally the soundtrack to my 14-year-old emo depression stage. So I would love to know what I just love that man. He's amazing.
That is actually a very good one. I wouldn't mind that myself.
Yeah.
Even just to be a fly on the wall, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, just.
I mean, they pioneered a lot of like modern bands. A lot of like people, like I grew up on Linkin Park, so like I joined a band, and it's crazy to see what they've done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they really affected so many people's lives. Like even take them. If they never existed, you guys mightn't even be in a band.
No, exactly. Because he was one of my influences as well.
Yeah, I feel like even if you would still be in a band, your influences would be slightly different.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I know like for Brian specifically, Brian grew up on like Metallica, but Brian got down with like Linkin Park and 3 Days Grace specifically.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have that Linkin Park influence, like a lot of stylistic stuff would be like switched up a little bit.
Yeah,
but same thing with the music industry. I mean, a lot of people like that, the rap, rock, screaming, heavy riffs, but it's like new school. It's a little urban. It's a lot of different stuff going on there.
Yeah, definitely. And the final one. So what song would appear on the soundtrack to your lives?
Oh man, forgot about this one. This question stressed me out last time.
Oh, soundtrack. Wow, these are some good questions. I commend you, because you usually questions. It's just like you can just. But this really makes me think. Soundtrack.
I feel like the soundtrack one changes because I'm in and out of a lot of different moods.
Yeah.
So it's like, but like to define one is really challenging.
Honestly, thinking about it, if I had to choose one off the top of my head, it would probably be "Remember We Die" by Gemini Syndrome, because
That's a good one.
I have gone through so much in my life. I've gone through so much loss. I've struggled with a lot of depression and anxiety in my life. And just to have that little saying of like, "Remember we die," it's like we're here for a reason. So live it to the fullest and enjoy whatever you're doing, because tomorrow was never promised.
I actually love that answer. Couldn't get a better one.
I don't even want to go after that. I'd like to see the answer.
Sorry, I can't help it. I am a writer.
That's a good point. I mean, I kind of agree, though. I mean, I don't know what else to say to that.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of just like the kick that run. Remember, we die. Enjoy life. We're living life. We're young. We're somewhat happy and healthy and wonderful, I guess.
Right. Draven, are you going to attempt to follow that one up, or?
No, I think we should end on that, man. That's a good answer. Honestly, I'm like stunned.
Perfect. So listen, guys, thanks for jumping back on again and letting us all know about the EP. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Thanks for spreading the word.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're interested in signing up to Band Builder Academy, use the link in the show notes below and enter the code CONCERTS and you'll receive 10% off. So, until next time, keep rocking. Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show's over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here. Bye.